Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into a time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
Ann Southern stars in The Adventures of Maisie this hour, a spin-off of her 10 successful motion pictures where she starred as Maisie. This episode was originally broadcast May 17th, 1951. This is entitled The Indian Guide.
Hiya, babe. Say, how about... Ouch!
Does that answer your question, buddy?
The Adventures of Maise, starring Ann Southern. You all remember Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer's famous Maisie pictures. In just a moment, you will hear Maisie in radio, starring the same glamorous star you all went to see and loved on the screen, Ann Southern. And now, here's Ann Southern as Maisie.
Yep, I'm Maisie, like the man said. Maisie Revere of Brooklyn. Girls, are you engaged to a swell, hard-working, conscientious guy? Or are you engaged to a guy like my boyfriend, Eddie Jordan? He's never working. Even when he's got a job, he's not working. He's loafing. But he's a sweet guy, and I guess I love him. Right now, he's been waiting around our boarding house to hear about a job he's been supposed to get for a month. But nothing's happened except that Eddie's been wearing the fuzz off the cushions in the Davenport and getting 14 hours sleep a day. I couldn't stand seeing him take it easy while I was wearing my high-heeled shoes down to moccasins looking for something to do in show business. But then, one day on the way home on the bus, I heard someone mention something I thought Eddie could do.
So what'll happen when Stanley goes into the army?
Who knows? Maybe the army will go bankrupt. That's Stanley. He's a character. He's bankrupted his father and his girl Shirley's father. Well, all I'm saying is that the army better look out. They just drafted the biggest monkey wrench that ever threw himself into the works.
Oh, what about those kids?
Oh, yeah. You mean that bunch of kids he was counselor for?
Yeah.
Well, gee, I guess I'll have to find another guy to lead him on hikes. It paid pretty well, too.
No kidding.
Yeah.
But pardon me for intruding, ladies.
Well.
But I happen to know a party who would be just right for that consular job.
I don't believe that we're acquainted.
Oh, well, excuse me. My name is Maisie Revere.
Miss Revere, I should like you to have the pleasure of making the acquaintanceship of Miss Agnes Muldoon.
Oh, well, I'm glad to know you.
Likewise.
And I should like you to have the pleasure of meeting me, Miss Fritzy Garfinkel.
Well, it's nice to meet you.
Who is this party of whom you were talking about?
Well, he's a fellow who lives in the boarding house where I live. He loves kids, and he's a real outdoors guy. You know, wears tweeds, smokes a pipe, and takes a cold shower every morning.
How can you tell?
Oh, you can hear him screaming for blocks.
What's his name, Maisie?
Daniel Boone Jordan. His great-grandfather was an old Indian fighter and carried a tomahawk in his head for 40 years.
Gee, didn't it hurt him?
Only when he played football.
Oh.
Yes, Daniel Boone Jordan is a real woodsman and very resourceful. You could set him loose in a forest with nothing but a case of beer and a scout knife. And 2 weeks later, he'd drive out in a 1950 pickup truck he'd made out of the beer cans.
Oh, he sounds just wonderful.
Miss Revere, I think you should become acquainted with the person who runs the boys' club and tell him all about Mr. Jordan.
Well, believe me, Miss Garfinkel, he's absolutely fearless. He's been over Niagara Falls in a barrel, and he's thinking of walking across the Atlantic on stilts.
Just think, if I was lost in the woods with him, I'd be perfectly safe.
No, the boys would be safe, but you wouldn't. Come on in the parlor and sit down, Eddie.
Come here, baby. Your love boat has just sailed into the harbor.
Oh, get away from me, sailor, or I'll scuttle you. Eddie, I've just got you a wonderful new job.
Oh, no, Maisie, not again.
Well, this is different, Eddie. I'm not asking you to be a cabin boy on a garbage barge.
Good. I don't want to test parachutes either.
Oh, you're getting lazy and logy, Eddie. Look at you.
Oh, Maisie, for gosh sake.
Now, what you need is a little fresh air and exercise.
I can see this is an outdoor job. What is it?
Well, how would you like to be the leader of the Brooklyn BUMS?
What's that?
The Brooklyn Boys Unmilitary Marching Society, better known as the Bums.
A boys' club, huh?
And you'd be their biggest bum, too. You just take the kids out for a hike and take them home.
That's all?
Well, they do a little cooking, and you have to help them strain the wildlife out of their food.
That doesn't sound like too much.
Well, of course, you know how kids are. They'll want you to tell them about the Indians and stuff. You know a little bit about the Indians, don't you?
Sure. They've got a darn good team.
Now, listen, Tootsie. I'm talking about these Indians. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Oh, you mean Indians. Maisie, I don't know anything about them.
Oh, well, you can make stuff up.
But remember, if that job with the contractor comes through, I'll have to quit.
Oh, well, I'll take care of it, Eddie. Now, there's one other thing I ought to mention. I told him your name was Daniel Boone Jordan, and that you could make a fire by rubbing 2 pieces of wet moss together.
That's just dandy. How am I going to do that?
Oh, it's easy. Don't let anybody catch you at it. But all you have to do is palm a match and wet the moss with kerosene.
Hasn't our wandering boy come home tonight, Maisie?
No, Mrs. Kennedy. He's still at the mercy of the Brooklyn BUMS. They're probably hiking around in circles on the outskirts of Great Neck.
Oh, my boarding house just doesn't seem the same without Eddie lying on the floor of the sitting room snoring.
Yeah, it's kind of a homey touch. But someday when he's asleep, I'm going to sew him to the carpet. Maybe that'll cure him.
Does he know anything about hiking and woodcraft, Maisie?
Well, he does now.
The only exercise he gets around here is flipping his cigarette ashes on the floor.
That can't be Eddie. I hope he hasn't had an accident or something.
Well, I hope not, too. He owes me 3 months' room rent.
Oh, hello.
Is this the home of...
Well, just at the moment, I'm the only one here who fits that description.
Well, is this also the home of Daniel Boone Jordan?
Yes.
The man who hiked over the Rockies in his bare feet in the dead of winter? The man who killed a mountain lion by tickling it to death with his toes?
The very same. Where is he?
Bring in the body, boys.
Okay. The body? Oh, no. What happened to him? Oh.
A lot of blubber on him.
Oh, hello, Maisie.
Hello, Daniel. Gee, even the tail of your raccoon cap is dragging. And I starched it last night, too.
Oh, Maisie, I'm done for. Put a lily in my hand and point me in the direction of the Shady Rest funeral parlor.
Oh, don't be ridiculous, Eddie. The world can't get rid of you that easily. You need some sleep.
Shall I turn down the sitting room rug for him?
No, thanks, Mrs. Kennedy. The boys will help him upstairs.
Okay, fellas. Take it and put it upstairs in the bed.
Take it easy, boys.
We're sorry we had to bring him home in this condition, Miss Revere, but he folded up after he fell out of the tree for the 3rd time.
Well, of course, that can be sort of tiresome.
What was he doing up in the tree?
Trying to escape the angry bull.
Was that how his hip pocket got torn open?
No, I think his hip pocket was shot off by the farmer.
I see. You're not going to let too much of this story leak out at a time, are you? Okay. Why'd the farmer shoot at him?
Because he let the herd of pigs loose when he got scared by the goose after he slid into the chicken yard from the haystack he jumped onto to keep himself from falling from the roof of the barn.
He didn't happen to get struck by lightning, too, did he?
No. We were sure disappointed.
Hey, no, he's not asleep. Boy, he sure snores.
Well, thanks very much, fellas.
When he comes to tomorrow, tell him we had a swell time. And the day after tomorrow, we want to do the same thing all over again.
Well, I won't tell him that.
Okay. Members of the Brooklyn Bums, attention. Okay, men, let's give Miss Revere our special salute. A 1, a 2, a 3.
Here's some nice black coffee, Eddie.
Oh, thanks, darling.
Oh, look at the poor boy's handshake. His fingers are just a faint blur.
Come on, Eddie, pull yourself together. Oh, now, Eddie, it can't be that bad. All you did was take a few sweet little kids out for a walk.
Sweet little kids. Those diabolical little brats nearly killed me. That's the classiest group of juvenile delinquents outside a reform school.
Well, they seem like nice boys to me.
Little Dillingers, that's what they are. Hey, feel these lumps on my head.
Gee, Eddie, you got more knobs than an Irishman's cane.
They all had slingshots, and I was out in front leading them. Just a moving target, that's all I was.
Well, tomorrow you can wear a sandhog's helmet.
I'll loan you my grandfather's cavalry saber.
I'm not going tomorrow.
Eddie, you've got to.
Come in, it ain't locked.
Who, may I inquire, is Mr. Daniel Boone Jordan?
Well, don't look at me. I'm not Mr. Anybody, no matter how I dress in the morning.
And Mr. Jordan just left.
No, I'm Mr. Jordan. What's your problem? Can't be worse than mine.
So, you are the imposter who took those innocent little boys out for a wild, irresponsible, foolhardy afternoon yesterday. The man who got my boys shot, trampled to death, gored by a mad bull, and pecked to pieces by an infuriated goose. Almost.
Which one of the little monsters belonged to you?
Eddie, please.
My son is Virgil, the sweetest little angel that ever drew breath.
The sooner he becomes one, the better.
I paid my money so Virgil could learn the joys of outdoor life instead of the hazards and dangers. And if tomorrow's hike isn't a happy one, I'm going to sue you for your last dime.
You might as well give him the dime now, Eddie.
Yeah, here it is.
Tomorrow's trip had better be inspiring and educational and without any hitches, or else. Goodbye.
Oh, Maisie, now look what you've done. He's probably an influential man in the city government.
You can be sued to death, you know. Look, none of this would have happened if you hadn't been so helpful about getting me a job.
Oh, but Eddie, if you don't ever have a job, how are you ever going to make enough for us to get married? You might as well call the whole thing off.
Oh, now, look, darling, don't talk that way.
Mrs. Candy's boarding house, her speaking. Oh, one moment, please. It's for you, Eddie, a woman.
Do you have to tell everybody? Hello? Oh, yes. Yes, of course. You bet I would. Thank you. I'll be there.
Who's that, Eddie?
Nobody you'd know, babe.
She had a very fluffy voice. Don't forget your nickel for that call.
Who are you calling, Eddie?
You'll find out. Hello? This is Eddie Jordan speaking. I've just taken a job with a construction company, and I won't be able to take the boys out tomorrow. Yes, it's just breaking my heart.
Eddie, you got the big job.
But I'd like to recommend a wonderful person who's hiked all over the country. I know the kids would be delighted because this is somebody who knows all the Indian lore and campcraft there is.
Now, who could that be? Oh, no. Eddie, don't.
The leader who'll take the kids out tomorrow is none other than the famous young lady known as Navajo Maise Revere.
Eddie!
May 17th, 1951, The Adventures of Maise on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's MediShare. Maybe you've heard switching to MediShare to pay for healthcare can save the typical family $500 a month, and that's huge, but it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The customer satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. MediShare works. It's been around for more than a quarter century, and members have shared more than $3 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE. 833-34-BIBLE.
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, more The Adventures of Maise, starring Ann Southern, from May 17th, 1951.
And now, back to Maisie.
Well, here are your boys, Maisie. All you do is take him out and bring yourself back alive.
Okay, you'll see, Eddie Jordan. I'll handle him.
Sure you will. Hi, fellas.
Hello, Mr. Jordan.
Great little kids. Have all you fellas got your slingshots?
Yes, Mr. Jordan.
You've got a beautiful target for today.
Eddie, don't encourage him.
Now, where's Virgil?
Here I am, Mr. Jordan.
Maisie, this is little Virgil Johnson. At his age right now, he knows more than Einstein knows. He told me so.
Well, hello, Virgil. I think we'll get along all right, don't you?
Don't be too sure.
Yeah. Gonna be difficult, huh?
Yes, I believe I shall be.
Oh.
Unless, of course, you measure up to my standards of intelligence. I have a very high IQ.
When I get through with you may have to dig to find it. Now get back into line.
Okay.
Gee, the stuff he's got hanging from his belt. It looks like a Christmas tree.
Well, what's next?
Okay, kids. Before we get in the station wagon and take off for the Pocahontas Trail, let's get this straight. I am the boss here. What I say goes. When I tell you... Ouch!
Well, there's lump number one.
Junior, loan me your slingshot.
Okay, Miss Revere.
The man who did that better own up before I count to 3 or else. 1, 2, 3.
I won't do it again! Honest, I won't!
Anybody else like to swap shots with me? Anybody else got anything to say?
Well, I'd just like to ask you kids to be very nice today. Virgil's father has threatened to do something unpleasant if anything goes wrong today. So be careful, won't you?
Yes, Mr. Jordan.
That's good. Goodbye, Maisie.
Goodbye, Eddie.
Goodbye, Mr. Jordan.
Ready, aim, fire.
Now, that will do. Now, are we all ready? Oh, I was afraid that would happen, Virgil. Now pull up your pants and let's go. All righty, let's stop for a minute, fellas.
What do you got there, Virgil?
A chestnut burr. I beg your pardon, Miss Revere, but could you tell me what this is?
Well, it's very interesting. Very interesting. Anybody else find anything?
But what is it, Miss Revere?
Why, anybody can see what that is. It's a porcupine egg.
It's a chestnut burr.
Well, of course it is. Did you think I was serious?
Frankly, yes.
From now on, Virgil, I want nothing out of you but breathing, and very little of that.
How about a little nature study, Miss Revere?
Oh, sure. Go ahead and study it all you want to.
No, you're supposed to tell us.
Wouldn't you rather hear about the time I was in a carnival and got my foot caught in the Ferris wheel?
No.
Tell us about this tree you're leaning against.
Gee, the comic books have ruined the storytelling business. Well, now let's see. This tree is made of wood and has leaves at the top and roots at the bottom and the other stuff's in between. Well, so much for trees.
Hey, look, there's a bunch of kids over there. And here comes our counselor. Can we go over and see him, Miss Revere?
Oh, sure. But come back when I blow the whistle.
Okay.
Gee, I wonder what it's all.
Well, here comes a healthy-looking character.
Hey, hello.
Hello.
Are you the counselor for all those boys?
No, I'm their mother.
Oh, pardon me. Excuse me. I'm sorry.
No. I was just kidding.
But it's rarely that we boy counselors meet good-looking girl counselors.
Well, thank you.
You and I could climb trees together. Would you like that?
Oh, I don't know. I never had a man ask me to climb a tree with him before. Could we just sit here and talk?
Oh, but we're not using any of our muscles. It's no fun to just sit here when we could be romping around in the woods.
Well, look, Tarzan, I'm...
No. My name isn't Tarzan. It's Darwin.
Oh, well, that's very appropriate, too. My name's Maisie, but I'm not accustomed to go swinging through the trees for fun.
Well, what else is there to do? Come on, let's climb a tree.
No, let's not.
Wouldn't you like to go on a little side trip with me? I can identify all the trees and bushes around here. I even know their Latin names. You are sitting under Quercus rubra of the subgenus Erythrobalanus.
No.
Yes, it's an oak tree. Would you mind if I sang trees to you very softly?
Yes, I would.
Well, it's so rarely that I meet a girl like you.
Well, let's talk more about the trees. Now, I never called this tree a quercus.
Couldn't I kiss you just once?
Well, it's oak.
Thank you.
Hey!
Yippee! I kissed her! I kissed her!
Holy smoke. Come on, kids. It's dangerous around here. All righty now, fellas.
Pretty good, huh?
I'm ready to judge the hunter's stew you've been making. And the winner gets to wear a laurel wreath I made.
Here's mine, Miss Revere.
Well, this smells very nice. Mm-hmm. Well, that's very good, Junior, but there's just a few too many leaves in it.
Well, they blew in while I was cooking it.
Well, after this, blow them out. Well, who's next?
Here's mine, Miss Revere, and you better give me the prize or my father will be sore. Besides, I saw that guy kiss you when we stopped a couple of hours ago.
Put on your laurel wreath, Virgil. You win.
Thank you.
Now, let's see, fellas. It'll be dark in a few hours. Which way did we come from?
We came from that way.
No, that way.
You're both wrong. It was that...
Uh-oh, looks like they're lost. May 17th, 1951, The Adventures of Maisie, here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
No offense, but are you a little fat when you look in the mirror? How would you like to learn the secrets to lose 3 to 5 pounds a week easily without joining the gym or going through any crazy diets? It's called Body Sculpt by Med Diet. For the last 2 decades, we've been helping people just like you that have pounds they want to shed. We've helped millions of people lose thousands and thousands of pounds over the years. And now it's your turn. Learn the secrets of how to lose weight with one simple phone call. You'll see an amazing difference in a matter of days. Don't believe us? We'll offer you a money-back guarantee. If you're ready to start losing weight right now, call right now to learn more about your risk-free order to Body Sculpt.
Call for your risk-free offer. 800-738-5332. 800-738-5332. 800-738-5332. That's 800-738-5332.
Are you in bad pain? You know what I mean. Your knees hurt. Your shoulder hurts. Your elbow and back are constantly killing you. And I'm sure you've tried every pain pill or cream available at the drugstore. Am I right? Well, here's something you haven't tried. Pain Magic. Pain Magic is not available at any drugstore. The only place you can get it is by calling the special toll-free number I'm about to give you.
And to make things even better, call right now and find out about our buy one, get one free offer. We're so confident it'll work for you that we offer a free bottle with your purchase. No prescription required.
Call now to learn how you can get Pain Magic and get rid of your pain. Remember, your results may vary.
800-492-8164. 800-492-8164. 800-492-8164. That's 800-492-8164.
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, the conclusion of The Adventures of Maisie, May 17th, 1951. Looks like they're lost.
No, sir.
I don't agree with any of you. As far as I can tell, we came here from all directions. But if we take the wrong trail out, we may end up in Canada.
And my father won't like that.
Hey, now we can tell which way is north. I found some moss.
That's swell.
Oh, fine. This is a big help. On this tree, the moss grows all around it.
I won't go another step. I know we're going in the wrong direction.
Oh, come on, Virgil.
No.
You go ahead, fellas. I'll prove to Virgil logically that we're going the right way.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, prove it to me.
You bet I will.
Hey, don't spank me. Help! Stop! Don't! I'm convinced.
Mm-hmm. Now, we both needed that.
Gee, it's getting pretty dark.
What are we going to do now?
Well, how'd you fellas like to have me cheer you up with a nice spooky ghost story? Well, don't all shout at once. Hey! What do you know about that? We're right next to a road. Oh, it's no use, boys. They won't stop as long as they see all of us. Oh, there's another car coming. Get behind the bushes and wait for me to give you the signal.
Do you think you can stop the car?
Only if it's driven by a man. Hide now, quick.
Okay, get down.
Well, let's see how the old charm works, Maisie. Turn it on.
Hey, going my way, good looking?
Sure. You got plenty of room?
I sure have, beautiful.
That's fine. Come on, boys. Pile in the car.
Oh, no.
Is that you, gorgeous?
Who's gorgeous? I'm a wreck.
Ha! Had a wonderful day out in the open air, I'll bet, huh?
Well, wipe that big smirk off your face. Oh, Eddie, the things I do so that maybe someday we can get married and have a home somewhere.
I would have been to bed long ago, but I didn't want to miss seeing you come in.
Oh, that's sweet of you, Eddie.
I knew it'd be a good laugh.
I spoke too soon.
Oh, I wondered if that was you, Maisie. How'd you make out with Virgil's father?
That sounds like the answer right now.
Good night, all.
Oh. Hello, Mr. Johnson.
Miss Revere?
Well, get it over with, Mr. Johnson. I did everything wrong. I got your son Virgil lost. I gave him a laurel wreath of poison ivy for the best hunter's stew, and I gave him a spanking. Go ahead. Do your worst to Eddie and me.
But not my sweet little boarding house.
You spanked him.
I sure did, and he needed it.
Oh, Miss Revere, Virgil is an only child, and I'm afraid we've spoiled him. That spanking did wonders for him. For the first time in his life, my son has been acting like a human being, like an ordinary boy.
Yeah, I think he enjoyed himself, too. When I opened my handbag in the subway, a frog jumped out with a tag on him that said, "Ha ha," and best wishes from Virgil.
You're a regular kid now. If you want, I'll take the frog back.
Oh, no. No, I passed it on to somebody else. And I think he just found it in his pocket.
And now, once again, here's Maisie.
Well, it took about 2 days for us to catch that frog. Mrs. Kennedy woke up one morning thinking she had an ice bag on her head, and when she reached up to adjust it, it croaked. Mrs. Kennedy nearly did, too. Well, Eddie's job with the construction company is going just fine. And that's not normal for Eddie. He's taken to wearing a dark blue suit, and he's becoming a young businessman. It looks like we might be getting married someday now. The only sad thing is, darn it, I think I liked him better when he was a bum. Well, that's life, I guess. Come on, feet, get moving. See if you can find little Maisie a good job for a change.
You have just heard The Adventures of Maise, starring Ann Southern. Maisie was written by John L. Green. Original music was composed and conducted by Harry Zimmerman. Supporting cast included Elvia Allman, Pat McGeehan, Johnny McGovern, Sandra Gould, Jeffrey Silver, Hy Averback, and Peter Leeds. John Heaston speaking.
May 17th, 1951, The Adventures of Maise on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
Are you suffering with arthritis or osteoporosis? Do you have diabetes? Did you know that these are just 2 of the hundreds of diseases that have seen improvement with Dr. Wallach's incredible longevity products? You can't get them at a health food store. The only way to get them is to call us at 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065. Do you have heart disease, fibromyalgia, or high blood pressure? Do you have a terrible time losing weight? Dr. Wallach can help. He was a veterinarian and cured diseases in animals. He felt that he could do the same for humans, so he became a physician. Over 50 years of research and helping people like you goes into every bottle of Dr. Wallach's amazing discoveries. Do you want to feel better? Learn how to treat the cause of your problem rather than covering up the symptoms with drugs. Call 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065.
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, Part 4 of the 5-part Yours Truly Johnny Dollar story, The Medium Well Doesn't Matter. This originally broadcast May 17th, 1956.
From Hollywood, it's time now for
Johnny Dollar.
This is Carol, Johnny.
Oh, hello, Carol.
I've made the arrangements for us to go to the seance tonight with Madame Morgana.
Good. What time?
8 o'clock. Only it's across the river in New Jersey.
Will you have dinner with me?
I'd love to. But we'd better make it pretty early.
Pick you up in your penthouse at 6?
I'll be waiting, Johnny.
Tonight and every weekday night, Bob Bailey in the transcribed adventures of the man with the action-packed expense account, America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Expense account submitted by Special Investigator Johnny Dollar, location New York City. To the Universal Adjustment Bureau, Hartford, Connecticut. Following is an accounting of expenditures during my investigation of the matter of the medium. Well done. Some pretty strong pressure was being put on Carol Sharp to change the beneficiaries of her $110,000 life policy. And she was very much under the influence of a psychic medium who insisted that she be named as one of the 2 new beneficiaries. The other was to be a Tony Ricardo, whose father made quite a record for himself in the bootlegging gangster days of the Roaring Twenties. I met him at Susan Palmer's Oyster Bar over in Radio City. I must admit I was surprised at the sort of fellow he turned out to be.
I guess it was a little, extreme to threaten you that way, Mr. Dollar.
That's putting it mildly.
But this whole spiritualism business and the hold it has on Carol, it has me terribly concerned.
You don't like spiritualism?
I didn't say that. You know just as well as I do, there are a great many fine, honest spiritualists in the city. But as in any other field, there are frauds, racketeers.
So I've heard.
It's not only true of religions, but businesses, professions, anything, you know.
Sure. But now look here, Tony.
Dollar, I will not have you or anyone else leading Carol on. This medium who's already has such a hold on her. Do you understand?
Pardon me, Tony. Your background is showing.
What?
I say come off it. This kind of act won't work.
What are you talking about?
Do you think I don't know you're one of the 2 Carol wants to name as beneficiaries of her policy? You and that medium?
That's not my doing.
Whose doing is it?
That medium, Morgana. She's been taking Carol's money by the hundreds week after week. Now you've come along to encourage her, and Dollar, I tell you to stop it.
Tony.
Maybe that story you gave her about dreaming of her over and over when you were a kid and couldn't even have known about it was true, but I don't believe it.
Tony, that was made up out of whole cloth.
I still... What?
This funny decision to switch your policy around is the case I'm assigned to.
Wait a minute, you mean that...
Yes. I had to meet her somehow, so I used that device, knowing she might fall for it because of her implicit belief in such things.
Yes, but now you're encouraging this whole thing. You're even going to see this Morgana with her tonight.
Because if she is a phony, it's the only way I can show this to Carol. Well?
I hope and pray that you can, Mr. Dollar. Some of the best psychic investigators in the country have been stumped by her. How are you going to go about it?
I won't know until I've seen her operate. Even then I may not know. Or maybe this medium isn't a fraud.
Oh, come on, of course she is.
But you can't prove it.
But you or somebody must. Or Carol will change her policy and
then turn up dead.
Won't be easy, Mr. Dollar. I've attended these seances with Carol, many of them. There have been times when I've almost been convinced myself.
Waiter, some more coffee, please.
No more for me, thanks.
You're going to need it, Tony, because I'm going to keep you here until you've told me every detail you can remember of this Madame Morgana's seance procedure.
All right, I'll help you all I can.
You'd better. I'm still not forgetting that if I fall down on this job, you'll cut into Carol's insurance for a neat $30,000, in spite of your sweet talk. I'll say this for Tony Ricardo. He was thorough, and I began to believe that he was serious in his concern for Carol. Item 12, 10 cents, one fold call to Tommy Green.
No, Johnny, no trouble at all in getting the rundown on Carol's family that you asked for.
Keep talking.
Apparently they're doing all right there in Mauchunk, PA. Neither the mother or 2 brothers will ever have to really get out and dig for a living.
They're all man left and well set up, huh?
Yeah. One of the boys, Harold's, turned out pretty well. Works in some office over there, even though he doesn't really need to.
What about the other boy?
That'd be Dave, the black sheep of the family. Travels with a fast crowd, tears around the country in a sports car, that sort of thing.
Oh.
Right now, he's somewhere here in New York, just playing around. But, Johnny, are you getting anywhere on this case?
Yeah, Tommy, I think I am. Especially after what you just told me.
Huh?
Item 13, another phone call, this time to Sergeant Randy Singer at 18th Precinct Headquarters.
Yeah, Johnny?
Got a real easy one for you.
What's that?
Find a man. Name is David Sharp. Home address, Mock-Chunk, Pennsylvania.
Chunk, Pennsylvania. Got it. Description?
None, though he's probably in his 20s.
Well, that's not
And
enough.
he's probably staying at a hotel here in the city.
Well, yeah, but where? What part of the city?
Let me know when you find out, will you?
Yeah, now, wait a minute, Kate.
Expense account item 14, $106.80, and it includes cabs to several camera shops. One miniature camera with an f2 lens, a couple of rolls of special film, some very special flash bulbs, and a tiny flash holder. Item 15, taxi back to the towers to clean up and dress for my date with Carol. Then the phone rang. Johnny Dollar.
We located David Sharp for you, Johnny. Just dumb luck.
Now, who knows, Randy? Maybe you're psychic.
Nah, leave us not have that stuff.
Where is he?
Found him staying at the third hotel we called, the Aberran over on East 53rd Street. Not 2 blocks from that palatial joint where you're staying.
Is he there now?
No, but he always comes in just before dinner time. Hey, you still haven't told me why you're interested in him.
I'm not sure myself. But do me a favor, will you?
Like what?
When he shows up, put a tail on him. I want to know where he goes, how long he stays, and when he comes back.
But you won't say why?
Not until I'm sure I know why. Thanks, Randy.
Yeah, but I haven't said
Thanks, boy. Dinner with Carol could have been one of the pleasantest things in years. But I'm afraid I was preoccupied with matters at hand and she with anticipation.
She's promised to try to hear from Daddy again tonight. Oh, Johnny, I so want to speak to him again.
Finally, I signed the check, we hopped into a taxi and headed across the river to the Jersey side. We ended up at a rather plain but nice home somewhere on the outskirts of, I guess it's Union City. We were met at the door by a matron of about 45, I should say, who looked like an ordinary, respectable housewife, except perhaps for her quick, discerning eyes.
Good evening, Carol, my dear. Oh, and you must be Mr. Johnny Dollar.
Yes, Madam Morgana?
Yes. Do come in and meet the others who are here to form the circle tonight.
Thank you. Carol?
Thank you.
Carol told me nothing about you except your veridical dreams of her. An amazing experience, isn't it? Perhaps you're really psychic.
Oh, I doubt that. But all our friends thought my kid brother Richard was, before he died a couple of years ago.
Richard. Richard. That name has been haunting me ever since Carol telephoned. You don't suppose...
What, Madame?
Oh, no, of course not. Now, here in the parlor are the others who will be with us tonight. May I present Mr. Johnny Dollar, Mrs. Dorothy Jessup.
How do you do?
Mr. John Price.
Hello.
Mr. Samuel Froelich.
All right.
And, of course, you all know Carol Sharp.
Good evening.
I see no reason why we shouldn't start. The atmosphere has seemed almost electric tonight. Very conducive to good contact with the, shall we say, the netherworld. And, oh, yes, you may smoke if you like, Mr. Dollar. We're very informal.
Oh, I'm sorry. Just sort of a nervous habit, I guess, flicking this lighter.
Oh, incidentally, I hope you tell these people of your dreams after we're finished. Oh, dear. The atmosphere is tense. We should begin right away. Well, yes, I'll turn on some low music.
The 6 of us sat down in a small circle. On the floor were 3 long, slender metal trumpets, like Halloween horns, but made of thin metal, spaced about the center of the circle. In the subdued conversation of the next few minutes, I learned it was through these that the spirit voices would come to us, that they would rise in the air and the voices would issue from them. From time to time, there in the pitch-black room, I snapped the cap of my lighter as a reminder of what it was.
You mustn't light it, Johnny, you know.
No danger. This one hasn't even got a flint in it.
I do hope we get some messages tonight.
I think we will, Mr. Froelich. I have a feeling that we will.
I have that feeling, too. Very strongly.
From what Madame told us, you must have definite psychic powers, Mr. Dollar. That should be helpful.
Wait. The power's here.
I feel it.
Almost as though she were suffering
Come
physical
to us.
pain.
We are ready.
The medium sighed and gasped, and we waited and waited. It's hard to describe the tension that comes of waiting that way in a completely darkened room. And it's easy to see how well the imagination can work, the powers of suggestion. There was a slight sound.
One of the trumpets. I heard it move.
Yes. Yes, so did I. That means that they are with us. It seemed to move toward you, Carol.
I hope so. Yes. Yes, I can feel it in the air near me. Father? Father?
Carol. Carol.
Oh, Father, can you speak to me? There's so many things I wish to ask you.
Yes, dear. Yes. Yes.
It may not sound like much to tell, but believe me, this was impressive. The death-like silence broken only by the faint voice from the trumpet, the whispered questions by Carol, an occasional sigh from the medium, and the shudder of my special little camera, which I hope sounded enough like my lighter had sounded.
Yes, Carol. Always do the things I tell you to. You're a good girl, my darling. And you give me great happiness in this lonely, in this...
Father? Father?
Goodbye, my... Goodbye.
Oh, Johnny, do you see? Do you see? Because only he and I know the things we talked about. Wait. I feel the trumpet is still near us, and perhaps...
John. Mr. Dollar, it's for you.
Yes? Richard?
Yes, John.
Dick.
I've waited so long to speak to you.
Dick. My brother. The brief conversation I carried on with my dead brother Richard was amazing. Of things in my childhood that I thought nobody else even knew about. Personal, intimate things that could only be known to a brother or someone equally close. It was fantastic, amazing, awe-inspiring. Except for one thing. I never had a brother. I didn't tell this to anyone. I played it straight and even stayed around and discussed my trumped-up dreams after the seance. But I needed proof, and I couldn't wait to get back to New York to the police lab where I could develop the infrared film in my little camera.
Now, here's our star to tell you about the final intriguing episode of this week's story.
Tomorrow, the wind-up. And a bit of heartbreak for a very chastened girl. Join us, won't you? Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, starring Bob Bailey, is transcribed in Hollywood. It is produced and directed by Jack Johnstone, who also wrote tonight's story. Be sure to join us tomorrow night, same time and station, for the next exciting episode of Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Roy Rowan speaking.
It's amazing. Johnny hearing from the brother he never had. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, from May 17th, 1956. Thank you for tuning into Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Please thank this radio station and support their advertisers. It is their kindness and courtesy that allows us to be with you each and every time we roll around here on your favorite station. And don't forget that our shows are available all over the internet, anywhere podcasts are served, including Spotify, Spreaker, which is our host location, also iHeartRadio, Apple Podcast, and even on our webpage. Those other places you have to search for Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. That's Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. And also, you can learn about building a classic radio collection of your own by going to my webpage, classicradio.stream. That's classicradio.stream. There you can not only stream our shows on demand, you can learn about building a collection of your own, and you can contact me there as well. ClassicRadio.stream. Thanks for tuning in. Tell all your friends the great radio shows are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station.